What if I told you that a tiny coin sitting in your pocket right now could actually be worth $1,000 or even more? Would you believe it? This isn't a joke. Every year, people go through their old coins, and some of them end up discovering hidden treasure without even realizing it. Here's the crazy part. These rare coins aren't locked away in museums. Sometimes they're just sitting in a drawer, a jar, or even your wallet right now. But here's the twist. Not every wheat penny is valuable. So how do you know if the one you found is just worth 1 cent or worth hundreds, even thousands? In this video, we're going to uncover the truth behind every wheat penny you find. Are they actually valuable or not? Before you start digging through your coins, let's quickly understand what you're actually looking for, because not all pennies are created equal. Wheat pennies are some of the most common old coins people find in their homes. They were produced in the United States between 1909 and 1958, and at first glance, they don't look very special. In fact, most people ignore them completely or spend them without a second thought. But here's where things get interesting. Some of these wheat pennies are extremely rare, and collectors are willing to pay serious money for them, sometimes hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The problem is, most people don't know what makes one penny valuable and another completely ordinary. That means you could be holding a rare coin right now and not even realize it. In this video, I'll break everything down in a simple way. What wheat pennies are, which ones are actually worth money, and most importantly, how you can quickly check if the coin you have is valuable or just pocket change. So before you throw away or ignore your old coins, make sure you watch this carefully. So, what exactly is a wheat penny? A wheat penny, also known as a Lincoln wheat cent, is a U.S. coin that was minted between 1909 and 1958. It was first introduced to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln, making it the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure. On the front of the coin, you'll see Abraham Lincoln's portrait. But what makes this coin unique is the back side, which features 2 wheat stalks along the edges. And that's exactly where the name wheat penny comes from. At first glance, these coins might look old, but not necessarily valuable. And that's where most people get it wrong. Millions of wheat pennies were produced over the years, which means a large number of them are still in circulation or stored away in jars, boxes, and collections. Because of this, most wheat pennies are only worth a few cents more than their face value. However, certain factors can make a wheat penny extremely valuable. Things like the year it was made, the mint mark, rare errors, and its condition can dramatically increase its worth. So while one wheat penny might be almost worthless, another one that looks very similar could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And the key is knowing how to tell the difference. So are all wheat pennies valuable? The short answer is no. Most wheat pennies you come across are actually very common and only worth a few cents more than their face value. Since millions of these coins were produced between 1909 and 1958, a large number of them still exist today. That means finding one doesn't automatically make it rare or valuable. But here's where things get interesting. While the majority are common, some wheat pennies are incredibly rare, and those are the ones collectors are willing to pay big money for. The difference comes down to a few key factors like the year of the coin, where it was minted, any errors it might have, and its overall condition. For example, 2 wheat pennies might look almost identical at first glance, but one could be worth just a few cents, while the other could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So the real question isn't, are all wheat pennies valuable? It's, how do you know if the one you have is valuable? And that's exactly what we're about to find out next. Now let's talk about the wheat pennies that can actually be worth serious money. Some of the most valuable ones come down to rarity and unique features. For example, the 1909 SVDB is one of the most famous wheat pennies because it had a very limited mintage, making it highly sought after by collectors. Then there's the 1914 D, another rare coin that can sell for hundreds or even thousands depending on its condition. One of the most interesting is the 1943 steel penny. During World War II, pennies were made from steel instead of copper. And while most are common, certain rare versions can be extremely valuable. And then you have error coins like the 1955 double die penny, where the text appears doubled. These kinds of mistakes make coins incredibly desirable and valuable. The key takeaway is this. Not all wheat pennies are worth a lot, but the right one, with the right year, mint mark, or error, could be worth far more than you ever expected. So, how can you actually tell if your wheat penny is valuable? The first thing you need to check is the year on the coin. Certain years are much rarer than others, especially coins from the early 1900s. If you spot something like 1909, 1914, or any unusual date, that's already a good sign. Next, look for the mint mark, which is a small letter under the date. You might see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. Some mint marks are far rarer than others, and that alone can increase the coin's value significantly. After that, check for any errors or unusual details. This could be doubling in the text, strange markings, or anything that looks off. Error coins are some of the most valuable because they're unique and hard to find. Another important factor is the coin's condition. Coins that are clean, sharp, and less worn are usually worth much more than heavily damaged ones. But be careful, never clean your coin, because that can actually lower its value. Finally, if you think you found something special, consider getting it checked by a professional or comparing it with verified examples online. Because sometimes that small penny you almost ignored could turn out to be something truly valuable. Now, let's go over some common mistakes people make when dealing with wheat pennies, because these small errors can cost you a lot of money. The biggest mistake is cleaning the coin. It might seem like a good idea to make it look shiny and new, but cleaning actually reduces its value in the eyes of collectors. In many cases, a clean coin is worth far less than its original condition. Another mistake is ignoring small details. People often overlook mint marks, rare dates, or subtle errors that could make a coin valuable. These tiny details are exactly what collectors look for. Some people also assume every old coin is valuable, which isn't true. Age alone doesn't determine value. Rarity and condition do. And finally, many people rush to sell without doing proper research, which can lead to selling a rare coin for far less than it's worth. Avoid these mistakes, and you could save, or even make, a lot of money. So, here's the bottom line. Not every wheat penny you find is going to make you rich. In fact, most of them are only worth a few cents more than their face value. But every once in a while, someone comes across a coin that turns out to be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And that's exactly why it's worth checking. Because the difference between an ordinary penny and a valuable one often comes down to just a few small details. The year, the mint mark, a tiny error, or its condition. So before you ignore that old coin or toss it aside, take a closer look. You never know what you might be holding. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a wheat penny? Or do you have a jar of old coins waiting to be checked? Drop a comment below and let me know. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on more hidden value like this.